I'm back, and I'm excited. We're going to be in Luke 12, 35 through 59. It's a long text. I'm not going to read the whole thing. So probably the best thing to do would for you to go ahead and pause it, if you're in a space where you can pause it and actually read it, because I'm going to go through it pretty quick, okay? So give you a second to do that. Go, pause, read. Welcome back. So glad you're back. Luke 12, 35 through 39. Let me start with this. Most of us live like we have more time than we actually do. So most of us live like we have more time than we actually do. Some of us say it out loud. Some of us don't. But our lives, if we were to preach something, that's what it would preach. We live lives as if we have more time than we actually do. So things like repentance, we delay because of the messiness that we think that might cause, the fear. We postpone obedience. We'll say we'll do that later. I'll read my Bible tomorrow. We assume that there will always be another moment, another chance to get it right, okay? Jesus is going to step in here, and he's going to completely disrupt that illusion, all right? He says, stay dressed for action, keep your lamps burning, be like men who are waiting for their master. In other words, be ready. Not anxious, but awake, waiting for the Lord. There's an urgency to the Christian life that we have lost, if we're honest. I've read many books about that. The end times, Christ's return used to be something that the early church talked about almost more than anything. And I'm guilty of this. We hardly talk about this anymore. We've turned following Jesus into something casual, something we can pick up and put down depending on the season, right? But Jesus is saying, no, this is a life of watchfulness because the master is coming back. And what's wild is not just that he's coming, but what he does when he arrives. It says he will dress himself for service and have them recline at table, and he will come and serve them. That's what's going to happen. That's upside down, right? The master serving the servants. But that's the gospel, isn't it? That the king we are waiting for is the same king who has already come, not to be served, but to serve, to lay down his life, to give himself for us. And yet, and don't miss this, the same Jesus who serves is also the same Jesus who returns. And when he returns, he's not coming casually, he's coming decisively. So Jesus shifts the tone in the text. He says that the master of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming. So now it's just not about readiness, but it's about unexpectedness. You don't schedule a thief. Well, at 8 o'clock, the thief's going to come by. You don't do that. You don't schedule a thief. You don't pencil him into your calendar. He comes when you're not ready. Jesus is saying that's how it's going to be. And Peter, like us, wants clarification on this, because we would all want clarification on this. He says, Lord, are you telling this parable for us or for all? Translation, is this really for me? Or are you saying this for someone else? Jesus doesn't soften it. He leans in. He talks about a servant who knows the master's will and then ignored it. And then it gets uncomfortable. The text does. Because now we're not talking about ignorance. We're talking about exposure. He says, to whom much was given, of him much will be required. To whom much has been given, of him much will be required. So if you've sat under good preaching, if you've had access to the scriptures, if you've seen God's faithfulness, then this isn't lighter for you, it's heavier. We don't get to hear truth and then live like it doesn't matter. You have no excuse. There is a weight to knowing Jesus. And then Jesus says things that feel jarring. I came to cast fire on the earth. I have a baptism to be baptized with. I came not to give peace, but division. Those aren't the quotes of Jesus we usually say, but it is real and it's the same Jesus. And it forces a response out of us. It's the reality that you can't stay neutral around Jesus. He exposes our hearts and what we truly want. It's hard, it's honest, and then Jesus kind of brings it home. He says, you know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? In other words, you're not clueless, you're just ignoring what's right in front of you. It's not that you're too busy. is that your priorities are off, right? So we can see weather patterns, we can plan careers, we can analyze life. But when it comes to our souls, we don't analyze it. We're typically passive about it. Jesus says, no more of that. No more of that. Discern the moment. You're not promised tomorrow. He's going to return. You're not guaranteed another opportunity. And then he ends with this picture of settling accounts on the way to court. It's urgent. You have to deal with it now before it's too late. So what do we do with all this? First thing, very simply, wake up. If you've been coasting spiritually, if you've been hiding sin, this is the moment. Not out of fear, but out of clarity. Because Jesus is real, his return is real, and your life matters. Your decisions matter in light of that. Wake up. I think of the story of Jonah, one of my favorite stories. Jonah's asleep in the ship. He's running from God. And the captain of the ship, like the storm's here, the ship's about to break apart. Literally, the ship is personifying itself, talking about how it's going to break apart. And the captain of the ship runs into the bottom of the ship where Jonah is asleep. He knows all of this is his fault. Jonah's asleep, and the captain says, "Wake up, you sleeper." Maybe that's you. Wake up. Second, it's not a very, not a very sexy thing to say, but I don't know if I can say that. Second thing, lean into obedience. Not delayed obedience, not partial obedience. I mean, the real costly daily obedience. Because knowing truth and ignoring that truth, it's going to harden your heart. It doesn't leave you neutral. It moves you backwards. Like if you know Jesus, if you know the scriptures, and you're ignoring them, it hardens you. It hardens your heart. Third, rest in the King who serves us. This passage isn't just a warning, it's an invitation. The one who calls for you to be ready is the same one who gave himself for you. The one who's going to return in judgment is the same one who absorbed judgment on your behalf. So we don't live ready out of panic or just straight up fear. We live ready out of love, out of awe, out of, man, you are glorious, God, out of a deep, steady confidence that our master is not cruel, but he's good and he loves us and he's worth being ready for. So don't wait. Don't wait another minute after this is done. Don't wait another week, another season. Don't wait until things get hard to run to Jesus. Run to Jesus now. Be ready now because he's coming. And for those of you who are watching, right, you're watching and waiting, that moment, it will not be a moment of fear. It will be a moment of joy because the King has returned. New heaven and new earth is here. All right, that's it for today. Thank you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace out.